Hey there, SpongeBob. How are you?
I don't know, Patrick. No, I mean, I don't think I picked that much, but it's just.
That is, I don't know why you don't just start off with that.
Yeah.
Do your pitches with that.
Welcome to White Ash.
This is so going on YouTube.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Behind the Booth. I am ecstatic that I get to be joined by the one and the only Mr. Charlie Stickney. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm great, and I am just as excited to be here, and as ecstatic to see you as well. So, or virtually see you. I mean, after a couple of weeks home with my kids, or I guess it's been months at this point, I'm just happy to see anyone.
Happy to talk to
but
anybody.
Specifically you.
For those at home who may not have ever heard, for whatever crazy reason, ever heard of you, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're about, Charlie.
So, in terms of comics, which I think is what the most important thing that we're talking about today, because who I am, I mean, that's an esoteric question that could go on for a long time. I write the comic book series White Ash, which is being published through Scout Comics. And also there's a different version of it that we put on Kickstarter that's been very successful. I write another comic book called The Game. It's another series. And I'm about to launch my third series called The Adept with a company called Immortal Studios. Before that, in another lifetime, I also wrote and produced animation. I've done independent film, feature film. So I've been working in the entertainment industry for a long time. But my first and true love was comics. When I was in college, I interned at Marvel. And my plan was to be a comic book writer and inker. And then I got shanghaied out to Los Angeles to work in the film industry. And so for me, it was kind of a process of finding my way back to the medium that I love a lot. So,
got it. Yeah, you mentioned that you were big into comics in that whole heyday of the 80s, 90s,
yeah,
all the way up. So if you had to pick your favorite series from that time, what you said you interned at Marvel, did you make yours Marvel or did you branch out?
Oh no, I mean, I was a Marvel fanboy for sure. I mean, I of course got plenty of DC. Like for me, it was kind of, I mean, I think this happens for all of us. It snowballed. I was collecting Transformers, the toys, like a lot of us in the early 80s. And I loved the cartoon. And I went into Bradley's and they had these 3 packs of comics. And it was like Transformers 1, 2, and 3. And I saw Spider-Man in the corner. I was like, oh yeah, I love Spider-Man. So I picked up a Spider-Man comic. And the first one I picked up when I started collecting again was Spider-Man 287. It was in the middle of this gang war series. And I was hooked. And I had, because I had Spider-Man, I wanted to find out about Daredevil. Because Spider-Man and Daredevil, there was like something with the X-Men. I had to find out who they were. And so, cut to a year and a half later, I'm getting 50 titles a month. Which back then was a lot more doable than it is today.
It's like a small
it's like it was a little bit more affordable. Yeah. But yeah, no. So like favorite comic from the 80s. My favorite run was definitely Peter David's Hulk. I don't know if you read that, but I think when you look at what the Marvel movies have become and that kind of tone and genre, Peter David was the one who started pushing Marvel into that direction. The same kind of direction that Whedon took off with Buffy, where it's the combination of humor and action, which helps undercut those really poignant moments or tragic moments. At the time when he was writing, I didn't see a lot of that coming from Marvel, and I feel like he was the one who, pioneered that for Marvel and made it, the tone of their books. But that Incredible Hulk run was great. And I think anytime you have a creator on a book for 10 years as the writer, they get time to develop the character. I mean, the Claremont X-Men run was fabulous as well. I'd say the Hulk and the X-Men were my 2 favorite. My favorite character was Spider-Man, but his book wasn't as well written as the other 2.
Yeah, back in the day, it's just poor Spidey. But I think I jumped on around the same time frame as you, because I remember picking up like when I was actually going to buy my first comic, not something my parents gave me, but
right.
was picking up that the Gang Wars issue where it had Punisher with the bazooka and it just looked like, what is this? What world is this?
Yeah.
I mean, still today, that's one of my favorite. That and then Executioner Song from X-Men, and just all those stories building upon. But so yeah, I think it was a great time to be a fan. I think that's why a lot of us today, at least in our generation, kind of are doing what we do right now.
I'm working with this company called Immortal Studios, and we are launching a new comic book series called The Adept. And it's part of an interconnected martial arts universe, which is all going to be authentic to the Shaolin traditions. We have a Shaolin master who's advising us on the series to make sure we're getting all the forms right. I'm co-writing it with Tasha Hugh, who is an amazing writer. And there's the core tenet for the principle, for the universe, for the series is all about empowering the hero that's within each of us. And this is the first book that's going to be used to kick off the interconnected universe. It's called The Adept. Yishan Lee, who did some Buffy, and she did Swing at Top Cow, is killing it on the art. So I'm really excited about how this is turning out, and it's very different for me, but it's been a lot of fun to work with a team to sort of create a comic. Usually it's like, hey, this is me, it's my vision. But for once, someone was like, hey, we want you to build something with us, and which was really nice. Just kind of, I was at the LA Comic-Con and they saw me speaking on a panel and they said, hey, we're building something. Would you like to be a part of it? And I said, sounds great. Tell me more. And then when I got to know, like these are really good people over at Immortal Studios. And when I got to know Peter and Emma and Robert, the people who are leading it, I was like, okay, they're building a vision for something that I'm excited to be part of. And, I can help them get the word out on their book, and I can bring some of what I do to help make this great, but they already have something really good cooking. So, it was nice just to be additive rather than have to be the whole thing.
Right.
Hello, I'm Charlie.
I'm Tasha.
Hey, I'm Peter.
Hello, I'm Isha.
And together we've created the new comic book series, The Adept. Some of you might know me from White Ash, but The Adept is unlike anything I've ever done before. I've partnered with Immortal Studios, Yishan Lee, and the incredibly talented Tasha Hugh to bring you a tale of empowerment set in the martial arts genre.
The Adept is a story about Amy, a troubled Chinese American woman who's running from her traumatic past, and she's made a lot of bad choices. She's abandoned the people she loves, until one day a Shaolin monk appears in her dreams. He begins to train her, and suddenly she feels empowered. She has meaning, purpose. She now can finally get the skills to cope with her issues in life. But then one day, for no reason, the dreams just stop.
So we pick up 5 years later, with nothing left. No family, no teacher, no dreams, or even an idea if any of it was real. Amy decides to head back home to see if she can pick up the pieces of her relationship with her estranged sister, Allie. The two of them find themselves at a concert, where they witness the kidnapping of Sasha True, a Lady Gaga-like pop star.
This is no amateur kidnapping. This is a well-organized, premeditated attack by a shadowy, ancient organization. But even crazier, in all the commotion, the Shaolin monk from her dreams appears, and they are face to face for the first time, and Amy has got some questions.
And so, Kickstarter community, we come back to you. Let's prove again that Kickstarter is the best place to bring independent stories to life. And we have some incredible rewards, from variant covers to collector's items to the Sasha True concert package. In fact, you can even become a member of Sasha's band.
So your contribution today will make that dream one step closer to reality. So let's do this. Push that button, join us, let's make a difference, and let's awaken the hero inside everybody we touch. Thank you.
On this show, I won't say I force people, but I do ask that that you guys engage in a little bit of fun and games, if you don't mind. So if you're willing, I'd like to do something with you. It is called Performing the Panel.
Okay.
And what that is we're gonna, if you don't mind, we're gonna take a couple pages from your book, White Ash, and we're going to perform it to the best of our abilities.
All right.
And then I'll put it up on the screen, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
But either way.
So I would say, like, to preface this, if you haven't read White Ash, this is going to be a bit spoilery. This is the big reveal that, like, some people refer to as kind of the Fight Club moment of the book. There's plenty of surprises left to come. This is the first of many reveals. But you know, to open, we're learning, like, with Alec, who is the lead of the book, a secret about him that he didn't know about his family tradition. And so he's having a conversation with his uncle, who is about to break it down for him why things are a little bit different in his life.
I'm sorry? I'm a what?
A dwarf.
As in a midget? I mean, a little person? I know I'm short, but...
No, dwarf, as in hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to Mordor we go, dwarf.
You almost had me. Come on, what's really going on?
Think about it. What just happened, Alec? You must have known, deep down, that you were different.
I guess, but the small-minded people in this ass-backward town are horrible, so I've got to be different than them kind of way. Never in a Brothers Grimm, let's go forge a ring way. Wait, does that mean I have dwarf powers?
Powers? I guess you could say that.
What are they?
Well, you're really short.
And?
You can grow an amazing beard.
That's it?
Hard to tell. Your mother was human. Technically, you're only half dwarf. The short half.
Are there a lot of us dwarves?
Not as many as there used to be.
And that creature we were fighting, is that a dwarf too, or a half dwarf?
No. He's part of the brood.
Brood? What's the brood?
We gotta go.
Why? Who's coming? More brood?
Alec, we can't stay. We're violating the pact. It could restart the war. Please. Come to the lodge. I'll explain everything.
Wow, look at you. I don't that's amazing. Yeah, I don't know how many audiobooks do you have now, Charlie? Out?
It is mostly saved for reading my kids, story time that we do. We're reading Percy Jackson now. We did some Harry Potter before, so that's where any talents I have for voices go. We did a year ago or so. We did Harry Potter as a family. Like, my kids were Hermione and Harry, and I was dressed as Snape. And about halfway through, my son was like, "Can you stop doing the Snape voice? You're scaring me."
All right. Well, thank you very much, Charlie, for indulging me with your reading skills, with your acting skills, your voiceover skills. I am in awe of all of your skills, Charlie.
Well, you know what? I thank you for indulging me with having me on the show, and hopefully not bringing it down to too low of a level. It was wonderful to be here. It's great to see you. I hope, one day in the next year and a half, I see you in person, that the world changes to a place where we can do that. Yeah. And until then, you stay safe and be well, and best to your family.
Thank you very much, Charlie. All right, buddy. Until then, stay wicked, my friend.
This is so going on YouTube.